Well, closing arguments are set to begin in the next hour in the trial against Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes. The question before the jury: did Holmes knowingly engage in a multi-million-dollar scheme to defraud investors who put money behind that failed blood testing startup she founded? Let's bring in Yahoo Finance's Alexis Keenan, who is standing outside the San Jose courthouse. Alexis, closing argument set to begin in about 30 minutes or so. What are you expecting to hear from prosecutors?
Hi, Akiko. So just a quick reminder here, Elizabeth Holmes, a fallen Silicon Valley superstar, the CEO and founder of Theranos, she's facing 11 counts of fraud and conspiracy for allegedly overselling her business, her blood testing company, where she said with just a few drops of blood, her analyzer could perform hundreds of tests. Now, Holmes just arrived just a few minutes ago, hand in hand with her partner, Billy Evans. She's gone into the courtroom, and today is really important. This is the very end of the trial. Today starts closing arguments. And first up is the prosecutors. They get to tell their story, and they get to try to weave together for the jurors to make a last impression on them about why they should believe and how they should interpret the evidence that they presented in their case. That's what's happening first today here. After that, Elizabeth Holmes' own attorneys will get a chance to give their story, and they will try to piece together similarly why they should believe her side of the case, that she didn't have intent to defraud investors and patients out of millions of dollars. And I'd also like to remind our viewers that at one point, Theranos was valued at $9 billion, all of which these investors and patients helped her amass. Now, we've been here since the early morning hours. There was a lot of interest in this case throughout the trial. This is the 15th week going in here of the trial. And you can see behind me, there are still a number of people trying to get into the courthouse. They're not all going to make it, but I did have a chance to catch up with one court enthusiast. She's here, lives here locally, but goes to school in another place. So let's take a listen to what she had to say about why she's here.
I got home for winter break like a day ago, so I found out it was still going on, so I figured I must check it out before it ends. So I got here at 6, which was actually a little bit late. I got here and I got seated into the overflow room. I wish I came a little bit earlier, but that's how it goes. Yeah, I think I've always been, since high school, interested in entrepreneurship, so this is kind of a good case of it. And then now that I'm in college, I've been taking a couple of business law classes, and it's all been really interesting, so I figured since it's all playing out in my backyard, I might as well check it out. The only certainty is that you don't know what's going to happen, especially with how the jury's going to vote. So just really curious to see how my first court case is going to play out, and just want to learn.
So a lot to learn, especially for the jurors here. And just to give you an idea of how difficult this case is perhaps going to be to decide, the jurors are going to have to contend with 900 plus exhibits in this case, 30 witnesses, including Holmes' testimony, also 9 former Theranos employees, as well as 12 investors who testified for the prosecution. But guys, a lot of eyes here on this case across the country, if not around the world, because it largely will be a mandate for how far founders and CEOs can really push the envelope for selling their startup businesses. Guys?
And Alexis, we're hearing some reports that jury deliberations could begin as soon as December 20th, kind of pushing into the holiday timeline here. What does that timeline look like? And what kind of prison time are we talking about if in case Elizabeth Holmes is found guilty?
So each one of these charges, they carry 20 years in prison, so stakes very high here, Akiko. As for timeline, it's really hard to predict any time what a jury will do. That's one thing I've swore off a long time ago. But look, we are going into a holiday week, and certainly I have heard plenty of experienced defense lawyers say that that's really strategic, that they would want to hand the case to the jury right before the holidays begin. We don't know how long deliberations will take, but in theory, if we did get through both closings as well as a rebuttal closing from the government, the jury could get the case as early as today. Not likely to happen, but it is possible.
Alexis Keenan on top of everything out there for us, and she will keep us posted here on Yahoo Finance Live. Thanks again.